Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 9 at Aqueduct on Wood Memorial Saturday is the Grade 1 Carter Handicap. We're going 7/8 of a mile. $300,000 is the purse. Let's take a look at this field. Now, Mike, the last few editions of the Carter may not have been the most stellar editions, but this year, this is a very good field on paper. Hopefully we can get some of the luster back for the Carter, a race with a lot of history behind it.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a pretty disappointing race for the last couple of years, Dan. They got a good field together this time. 8 horses. There's a lot of upside in this race. You have Speaker's Corner, the favorite on the outside, who, just looks like he could be anything going forward, and this is probably the right distance for him. This is a really interesting race.
He draws a nice attack outside post position as well. Timeform US is going to have him in the clear just off the early lead, and I would agree with that assessment as we take a peek at the pace projector. Bank on Shea is a fast horse. Maybe Bank on Shea is the kind of horse that can make the lead in here. War Toxin has shown some speed recently. Speaker's Corner is fast, Mike, and if no one else really wants it, I wouldn't be surprised if even Speaker's Corner makes the front or even Green Light Go.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Dan. I wouldn't be surprised. I know he's cutting back a furlong in this race, Speaker's Corner. I wouldn't be surprised if he was just the fastest horse early in here.
The number 1 is reinvestment risk, and he is one of the keys to this race because he was an extremely promising 2-year-old for Chad Brown in 2020. Second in the Hopeful, second in the Champagne. He did not run well in the Essential Quality Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He was bet down as 6-1 that day. Unfortunately, he had an extremely abbreviated 3-year-old campaign. He only raced once. But it's nice to have owners that can be patient. He returned off a long layoff for his 4-year-old debut at Gulfstream. Chad found a great spot in an entry-level allowance race. And some other horses had trouble at the start of this race. No such trouble for reinvestment risk, who set a good trip off the pace, and he gets it done in the lane with a big fig.
I thought he ran really well in this race. As you mentioned, he only had one start dating back to the end of his 2-year-old year. He set a good trip in this race, but he also really ran a race that came back fast. That horse that he turned away there in the stretch, that horse is only 1 for 4. He's very lightly raced, though, and I feel like that horse has a chance to be pretty good. I feel like reinvestment risk turned away a really nice horse in that most recent start. And as you've already mentioned, Dan, you go back to this horse as a 2-year-old, super impressive debut, and he ran well in those 2 Grade 1s against Jackie's Warrior. He just couldn't beat that horse.
Trainer Jimmy Jerkins has done an absolutely super job with the number 2 Green Light Go. This horse was an early 2-year-old. He won his maiden as a 2-year-old on the 4th of July and then won the Saratoga Special. And I have to be honest, I thought he was one of those precocious 2-year-olds. They were going to catch up with him. You'd never hear from him again after his 3-year-old campaign. Well, I was wrong. He's won his last 2 races at 4, going a 1-turn mile at Aqueduct, and he won the Stymie last time without any sort of issues. Let's watch that race where he just went right up front to the lead. His race is coming off of a 101 Beyer speed figure performance, and he beats a solid field in the Stymie with a 94 Beyer, and I know he can sprint.
Yeah, he ran okay in this race. The thing about this race, Dan, is after he, bumped a rival at the start, he just really didn't have any trouble making the early lead in this race. He just got control, and he just, was holding it together through the stretch here, not letting the closers get into it. He ran fine. I feel like it's going to be harder for him in here because I think they are going to go faster early. And I just wonder if that plays against Green Light Go's recent strengths. His last 2 wins, both when they put him right on the lead going a mile.
New York-bred Bank on Shea earned his 2nd victory against open foes in his most recent start at Tampa Bay. His 2nd start off a lengthy layoff, his 2nd start for high-percentage trainer Carlos David. Let's watch his win in the Pelican, where he beat 2 winners at Tampa Bay, going 3/4 of a mile. The 3rd place horse would come back to win a state-bred stake at Tampa with a 97 Beyer. Bank on Shea gutted this one out.
He did. He gutted it out after a really good trip too. He lost maybe a little position after the start, but after that, he just got a great trip towards the inside. He got through on the rail. He just hooked up with Baby Yoda there through the stretch, Dan, and was able to fight that horse off. I don't know. Is that a huge win to turn away Baby Yoda? I kind of feel like it's not. But as I say that, this horse is a little underrated.
I agree that he's underrated, but I was going to ask you the same thing. Is this the Baby Yoda that ran a 173 buyer speed figure at Saratoga? Right. Because he hasn't run back to that race just yet. And boy, it looked like Baby Yoda had all the momentum. Bank on Shea, give him credit. He came back and got that horse. Mind Control is up next, and you never want to sleep on a horse like this because Mind Control is a toughie. He wants to beat you. And we're going to watch his last race, the Parks Dirt Mile, back on September 25th. There was an interesting spot where Todd Pletcher decided to run this horse around 2 turns for the first time in his career, in his 23rd lifetime start. And Mind Control has the lead here. He's going to get beat by Silver State. I mean, Silver State's just rolling by him on the outside, and Silver State's now getting ready to pose for the camera. He's looking for the camera, and he's still looking at he's looking at the camera, Mike, and Mind Control comes back and beats him.
That's a disgraceful hang job there by Silver State. Give credit to Mind Control, I guess, just for hanging in there and coming back to win. He's a really, really nice horse. Multiple Grade 1 winner over 7 furlongs. Those races are forever ago, but he still ran them. It does feel like this is his best distance, Dan, and he's still consistent. He's still a player in races like this. I don't know. I'm going to bet somebody else if he's that 7-2 morning line.
He does run well fresh. 7 furlongs is a good distance. He likes Aqueduct. And it's funny that in that 23rd lifetime start, he earned his career best buyer, and that was going 2 turns. Back to 1 here. Rosario takes them out. I think First Captain's a very interesting horse in this race. He might have to run a career best, but who's to say he can't in only his 6th lifetime start? This horse won the Dwyer in only his 3rd lifetime start last year. And after an okay effort in the Curlin, he went to the sidelines for a long time. Shug's good off layoffs, had this horse ready to go in an allowance race at Gulfstream going 7/8. Let's watch First Captain. This race didn't have a ton of pace up front, Mike, and maybe it wasn't the strongest field in the world, but I liked that First Captain was able to come get this horse on the lead.
I did too. You're right. It's not a great field, but this horse is clear on the lead, and he's been up there the entire way. And First Captain comes and runs him down here. I like this is a little bit of a throwback race off the layoff, Dan, coming back in an allowance race going 7, and he gets up and gets it done. I like that performance from him. I liked him a little bit last year as a 3-year-old too, and I know his pedigree says longer. I feel like this 7 to 8 furlongs around 1 turn, I think it really suits this horse.
Uriah St. Louis is very capable of sending out big priced horses to either hit the board or pull off upsets on these big days. We've seen it before. He almost did it with the number 6, War Toxin. War Toxin was almost 50 to 1 in the Grade 3 General George, and on form, he deserved to be a big price. He ran well. Let's watch War Toxin's effort in the George. He showed good early speed. He carved out a legitimate pace, and it took Cordmaker, the best handicap horse in the Mid-Atlantic right now, to run him down. Career best 97 and start number 38. Uriah St. Louis doing a nice job with this horse.
Yeah, I mean, his prior 4 or 5 starts against stakes horses, Dan, he was just nowhere at the end of those races. This time, he never looked like he was going to win, but he stays on pretty gamely, and he did earn a new top figure. We'll see if he can do it again.
Drafted as the number 7, and this horse finally got to the winner's circle in North America for a very underrated trainer. I think the wet track might have had something to do with it in the Grade 3 toboggan, but let's take a look at this race because this horse made a very strong move on the turn, and then he's already in front by the time we turn into the stretch. And right now it's all over but the shouting. 97 buyers figure for drafted. He did it over course and distance. Was it the wet track?
It might have been, Dan. He had never shown that kind of a burst of speed before, though. He lost his first 8 starts after coming back from the Mideast. And I don't know, Dan. He just ran a much improved race here. It helped that the 1-5 favorite, you see back there struggling in third. It helped that horse totally bombed in this race. But this horse still took a big step forward last time.
And then here's the horse to beat. Speaker's Corner because he has all the fast races. We talked about how it took so many starts for Mind Control to earn his first ever triple-digit buyer speed figure. Speaker's Corner has earned triple-digit buyers in his last 4 and 5 of his last 6, including this race, the Grade 2 Gulfstream Mile. I liked how Junior Alvarado retained rail position, stayed up there. It was a solid enough pace. And he's just too good for Fearless, a horse that would come back and win pretty impressively last week against a weaker field in a graded race at Gulfstream. I think this was the coming out party for Speaker's Corner, Mike, going the one-turn mile. I'm pretty sure Bill Mott's thinking Met Mile. He's got to get through the Carter first.
Yeah, you don't feel like, I guess you never know, Dan, but you don't feel like cutting back a furlong is going to bother this horse. He has plenty of natural speed, and he's perfectly drawn outside. He was super impressive in that last one, winning, and it just feels like there's better to come for this horse. 5 in a row. He couldn't get the 9 furlongs in the Discovery, and I guess the Pennsylvania Derby was a little too much too soon for this horse. He's won 5 in a row along one turn.
We were at the track watching him on the Simo in the Gulfstream Mile as he passed the 8th pole. I turned to you, says best he's ever looked, and it was one of the fastest races, 106. Let's take a look at our top picks for the prestigious Grade 1 Carter. We got to go with Speaker's Corner here. It's just tough to bet against him in the form he's in right now, Mike. You're going to try to get first captain in there at a price for second.
Yeah, the only horses I'm going to use with him are the 1 and the 5. We'll see how they wind up betting the race. I just couldn't go against him, Dan. I feel like Speaker's Corner, this is a good running of the Carter. I feel like he just might be too good for these horses.
We're both going with the 8. Mike's going 8-5-1-4. I'm going 8-1-4-6. It's the Grade 1 Carter on Wood Memorial Saturday at the Big A. Good luck.